Our top story today from the GatewayPundit.com. A police state, Loudoun County Child Protective Services took a 1-month-old breastfeeding baby from her mother and Navy veteran father at gunpoint without charges, a crime, or due process. We're talking about this story and so much more here on the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. My name's Elijah Schaffer, and this is the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review, where we cover the top 5 stories of the last 24 hours. It's been a crazy week. I'm sure it's been a fun weekend. Hopefully you guys all got some rest. Maybe you partied a little bit. Maybe you spent time with the family, went to mass. I know it was a great weekend for me, and unfortunately, bad things are still happening. Our top story from Jim Hoff reports that the Loudoun County Child Protective Services took a 1-month-old breastfeeding baby from her mother and Navy veteran father without any charges. Listen to this. A U.S. Navy veteran and his wife were subjected to the full weight of the government's iron fist as Child Protective Services, backed by armed deputies, stormed their home and seized their 1-month-old breastfeeding infant. There was no warrant, no due process, and no criminal charges. This happened not in communist China, not even in North Korea. It happened in suburban Virginia in America. In 2025, I might add you. This is Trump's America. Are you happy you voted for this? No, I'm kidding. No, we're not blaming Trump for this. They'll find a way, though. This is an unfortunate story, so no more jokes. But Frazin Yazdani, a Navy veteran father and respected engineer, has become the latest victim of weaponized family court system, a system increasingly aligned with radical bureaucrats and progressive ideologues who seem hell-bent on dismantling the American family under the guise of state welfare. Quote, I'm begging everybody who's reading this that there's a crime in progress currently. Loudoun County government has abducted and falsely imprisoned a 1-month-old breastfeeding baby from its innocent mother. Please spread the story far and wide, interact with it, do whatever the algorithm needs to spread this story for the love of God, as Donnie wrote on X. I'm begging everybody who's reading this that there's a crime in progress. You can read that there on his X. I'll actually click on that too because I think it's important that we promote his page. You can find him here. His name's Farzin Yazdani. His @ is CERTUSVERNA. This is absolutely insane. I'll go ahead and I'll retweet that myself. All right. That being said, Loudoun County Child Protective Services, flanked by armed deputies from the Sheriff Department, stormed Yazdani's home in what the father described as a coordinated ambush, based on false affidavit from a bitter ex-wife embroiled in a custody battle. The infant, completely healthy, cared for, and bonded to her mother, was removed with zero regard for constitutional rights, familial bonds, or even basic human decency. This government is terrorism, and every man in America needs to understand that if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. I may have been the target of an investigation. There are no charges or litigation pending against me. If they bring some, fine, I'll face it. I'll fight it. What justifies taking my children away from their innocent mother? What justifies ripping a 1-month-old breastfeeding baby from the woman who carried her, nurtured her, and has never been accused of anything? There is no justification. There is no logic. There is only cruelty. This is what happens when the system convinces itself that you're a bad guy. It doesn't need proof. It doesn't need due process. It doesn't need perception, or it just needs perception. One bitter ex, one dishonest affidavit, and suddenly the state throws its full weight at you, not just to punish you, but to destroy your family. Even when the lies are exposed, even when you have recordings, evidence, proof of innocence, they don't stop. The stain of the accusations is enough, and now I'm under scrutiny, treated like I need to be controlled, while the people I love most are used as leverage in this twisted game. They're not protecting anyone. They're destroying a peaceful family. They're endangering children. They removed a fragile newborn from the safest place that she could be, her mother's arms, and handed her over to a system where children die in state care. This isn't justice. This is government-sponsored child abuse. This is psychological warfare. This is terror. I've been honorable. I've been respectful. I've shown love and restraint even towards those who've betrayed me, but I will not be silent while this happens. Everyone needs to hear this. Everyone needs to wake up. Please share this. Help me make noise. Help me expose what they're doing, not just to me, but to thousands of families across the country. You can stand with the Yazdani family in their fight for justice by clicking on the link in our story. Now, look, this is actually always a scary thought, right? I mean, people like myself who work in the public eye, people say all types of nasty things about us, And I always joke about it. If you read anything about me on the internet, it's true. It's just like, people I read this about you. Is it true? You go, yeah, it was on your cousin's Facebook, so you know it's true. You know what I mean? That's usually that's my standard for truth. No, but obviously people say all types of nonsense. They make shit up all the time. And, what if someone makes accusations towards someone to get your kids taken away? This is why you have to have due process. You can't just remove children from people's families without understanding, are they really in danger? I do hope that if he is innocent, there's no actual charges or problems, that he gets his kid back. I can't even imagine getting your 1-month-old taken away. It's just terrible. And that being said, guys, Warren Buffett just invested over $50 billion into energy. Billionaire Ken Griffin increased his oil investments by 150%. Even Elon Musk says that we can't live without oil. But here's what Wall Street isn't telling you. There's a smarter way to profit from oil than buying stocks. It's a unique investment that lets you collect monthly royalty checks from America's richest oil fields. You're not buying shares in a company, you're actually getting direct ownership in oil-producing properties, and you can start with just $25. You can learn more about the #1 oil royalty play for 2025 at ElijahOil.com. That's ElijahOil.com. Go to ElijahOil.com right now to discover how you can collect monthly oil royalty checks starting today. It's a really great opportunity because, you know, obviously with the Oxford Club here, the stock market is shifty. You never really know if it's going to go up or down. Crypto's cooked right now. I'm dying. But at least, you know, there's no short supply of oil, so these checks will keep flowing in. Despite what they say, I think oil is a renewable resource personally. I think it's actually created in the crust of the earth. That's my personal, you know, scientific studies. But, you know, they say it's dead animals and plants and stuff. Maybe it is. Who knows? But there's sure a hell of a lot of it. And get yours today at ElijahOil.com. Now, that being said, quite interestingly enough, let's jump right into the next story. Social Security overseer refused to help weed migrants out of the system. Then security showed up. Just to clarify, it's not weed migrants like marijuana, but to help weed migrants out. You know what I mean? Despite official action to essentially wipe migrants out of the Social Security system, a new report said that one bureaucrat refused to go along. Greg Pierre, a manager who, according to the Washington Post, oversaw technology experts, was refusing to put names of migrants into what's known as death master file, which is usually used for Social Security recipients who have died. As a result, on Thursday, security guards arrived at Pierre's office at Social Security Administration headquarters in Woodland, Maryland, and escorted him out. As with all the Trump administration innovations, blocking access to migrants' Social Security numbers has its critics. This is an unprecedented step, Devin O'Connor, a senior fellow at the Progressive Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, said in response. The administration seems to basically be saying that they have the right to essentially declare people equivalent to dead who have not died. That's a hard concept to believe, but it brings enormous risks and consequences. But the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said removing illegal immigrants needs to be done. She said putting migrants in programs that have been terminated into the death file of their Social Security numbers will be rejected, shows that the Trump administration is protecting lawful American citizens and their hard-earned Social Security benefits and ensuring illegal immigrants will no longer receive such economic entitlements. Anyone who disagrees with this common sense policies out of this administration can find a new job. According to the New York Times, immigrants who entered through the Biden administration, initiatives since ended by the Trump administration, are the subject of the effort. The new approach targets about 1.4 million people who participated in two programs, the so-called CNVH program that opened the door for 500,000 migrants from Nicaragua. Isn't that crazy? My brain reads 50,000 because I can't grasp how many illegals came here. Like, it's like 500,000. Like 50,000 is a stadium, right? So you have like 10 football stadiums of people just from Nicaragua too. That's not even from the other countries in just the last couple of years. It's really disgusting what they did to this nation. People should honestly be capital punishment for treason. Like, that's genuinely what should be happening to these people. Not the immigrants, but, you know, the people who facilitated this. This is like waging war on your own populace. To me, it's worse than betrayal, right? Because how many people are dying because of this? How much of our money is going away? How many Social Security recipients won't have the money they need to live, and they'll get kicked out of their houses because these guys are taking their checks? It's like in a system they never paid into. It blows my mind. Anyway, I don't know what's really controversial about doing any method to tell the government that this person doesn't get benefits when they were never supposed to get benefits to begin with. Like, and they're not citizens. So, you know, and they're like, well, what if they want to apply for citizenship eventually? Well, don't come here illegally. If that was your plan, then don't do that. If you come here illegally, you should be barred from ever being able to apply for citizenship. It should just be like, you're gone. You can't ever visit the country again. You're gone. That's my personal opinion there. You might have your own. That being said, they should lose their license. President Trump fires off on fake news CBS in 60 Minutes, urges the FCC to impose maximum fines and punishment after the latest rounds of fake news attacks. Is April 14th. Sunday night marked another explosive chapter in President Trump's ongoing battle with dishonest corporate media as he fired off a pair of Truth Social posts eviscerating the long disgraced CBS program 60 Minutes for airing not one but two blatantly false hit pieces against him. This is not the first time 60 Minutes was accused of running deliberately false reports in order to take down the president. It can be recalled that 60 Minutes cut Kamala's nonsensical answers to a question and replaced it with a completely separate sentence she said earlier in the interview. This was fraud and election interference. We also find out, too, that in recent news, CBS is now considering settling a $10 billion lawsuit brought by Trump over its deceptively edited 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris prior to 2024. Sources inside CBS, as reported by CNN, revealed that the discussions of potential settlement have sparked outrage in the newsroom. Executives are reportedly fearful that the lawsuit could derail the network's high-profile merger talks with Skydance Media. CBS doctored Kamala Harris's clumsy interview to make it look like she was making sense. Kamala could not even answer simple questions on the campaign without falling apart, so CBS at 60 Minutes gave her a hand up. You know, I find it to be really interesting. Like, people still think, like, I guess voting does kind of work a little bit, but it's like, we're in a system where they can literally put whoever they want and, like, basically almost get her in. Like, Trump did not win in a landslide. He almost lost. I know they say he won, you know, swing states or whatever. They can literally put a brick up there and people would probably vote for them. I'm not joking. You know, and it's kind of crazy that we live in a country that thinks like that. It's just like we actually are kind of stupid. I mean, maybe Vivek Ramaswamy was right. Just kidding. He was never right. I don't like that guy. Ever since he said that Americans were dumb, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you know what? If you're an anchor baby, you can't say that. Put your shoes back on, dude. You're in a TV interview. Very few people would understand that joke. But anyway, I want to tell you guys about something amazing. MyPillow is having two sales. First is the closeout sale on the Percale bed sheets. Any size, any color, just $25. That's right, you can get the queen size, kings, split kings, and California kings, any size and any color, just $25. Need new bed sheets? Now's the time. Even colors to choose from, or 11 colors. When they're gone, they're gone. Now, the second sale is a new energy drink called Rev 7. It's a premium energy drink that is actually good for you. So obviously a lot of these energy drinks have all these additives and synthetic, ingredients. This actually tastes great, gives you energy all day. Plus it has no sugar, which is like, I'm honestly not going to drink anything that has sugar at this point. I can't afford the calories. It has no caffeine, which is fantastic. So you don't experience those jitters and crashes that we've all been through with the other energy drinks. What makes Rev 7 so special is that it's powered by Cognizant. It's a premium nootropic that helps fuel your mind and go BHB, which is the primary ketone in your body that provides most efficient and cleanest fuel ever. MyPillow is so confident that you're going to love Rev 7 that for a limited time, you can try their introductory 3-pack absolutely free. These amazing offers won't last long, so now just go to mypillow.com, use promo code Elijah, ELIJAH, or call 1-800-210-8491. That's mypillow.com, MyPillow.com, promo code Elijah, ELIJAH, to get these amazing deals. Plus, don't forget, you can actually get their MyPillow, the original pillow, for about $15, which is freaking fantastic. Usually $50. Guys, upgrade your life, upgrade your living room. Check it out today. Now, that being said, interestingly enough, a first look at the alleged arsonist Cody Balmer, who torched Josh Shapiro's home while he slept during Passover. The man who set the Pennsylvania governor's residence on fire on Sunday morning has been identified. Police arrested a suspect on Sunday. His name is Cody Balmer, and he's a 38-year-old, and he lives near the governor's mansion. Balmer torched the governor's residence during Passover. Shapiro is Jewish. If you didn't know that Shapiro, that name is Jewish. Times now reported during a news conference, police confirmed that Balmer scaled fences, evaded state troopers, and ignited the fire. He was arrested in Harrisburg area shortly after Governor Shapiro and his family were safely evacuated. Dauphin County District Attorney Francis Chardo stated that the forthcoming charges will include attempted murder, terrorism, attempted arson, and aggravated assault against an enumerated person. Authorities have not yet released Balmer's photo. Balmer may also be angry that the government seized and sold his property. Cody Balmer looks like he was angry at property being seized and auctioned. Check this out. It turns out that, it turns out that police have just arrested 38-year-old Cody Balmer. That's who he is. Of Pennsylvania. Listen.
So I can confirm at this point, as we put out already, we are conducting an arson investigation, and we're conducting an attempted homicide and aggravated arson investigation. That is the paradigm that we've operated in. A lot of the investigative tasks have focused on the who up until this point. Obviously, we're trying to piece together very early on the exact sequence of events. We were late in coming out here because we were getting rapid information as it was occurring. And I'm pleased to announce that we do have an individual in custody. His name is Cody Balmer, B-A-L-M-E-R, age 38, with a Harrisburg post office address. In terms of the sequence of events, because of the thrust of the investigation concentrating on the who, I want to be very deliberate in my comments as to the how and exactly the time frame. What I do feel confident in saying at this point is that we don't anticipate any charges for conspiracy, but again, I'd reiterate my qualifier that I mentioned earlier, that we are still very much inside the first 24 hours.
So it turns out, look, he was upset about something unrelated. And I think it's kind of important. You know, I don't think we should, I don't think we should make everything about being Jewish. Like, I don't think that's a good thing, right? If this guy's mad about something and he's mad at Shapiro over seizing his stuff, and then you're like, by the way, he's Jewish and it's Passover. And it's like, well, if those weren't involved, if it had nothing to do with those things, then let's not mention them. If it did, then let's talk about it. But we gotta not be on the right, like victims, you know, we're like, everything's about our race and about our religion. Like, we kind of want to make sure what's really going on here and what's happening. But it says here that down here, Balmer had one phone over himself pointing a gun at a camera, which is right here as well. So there he is. Seems like a very stable guy, very wasted. And that's him with his kids, allegedly, and his wife. And yeah. All right. Not a smart thing to do when you have 4 kids, is burn down a house. Do we actually know why this happened? So the government seized and sold his property. So yeah, it's like, what does it have to do with him, with Shapiro being Jewish? I don't know. That just seems like a big, like, I don't know. I was wondering if it was an anti-Semitic attack, right? Or something on Passover, but I think it's just because of a government issue. I'll clarify on that tomorrow when we find out an update on that story. Trump DOJ checkmates judge in latest filing an alleged MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia deportation case. Christina Lila reports. The Trump DOJ opposed requests an alleged MS-13 gang member killer Abrego Garcia's motion for additional relief. Check this out. Here's what he had to say.
How does the administration, how do you plan to respond to the Supreme Court ruling and the other courts about the gentleman who was from Maryland who was with meals out of office?
Is that the one that was not Trent Rockville, but he was MS-13?
This is the one that they've said needs to come up.
No, but was he MS-13? Because I only know by that. I don't know which one. But if the Supreme Court said bring somebody back, I would do that. I respect the Supreme Court.
And the lower court judge as well. He's been asking for
I'm not talking about the lower court. I have great respect for the Supreme Court. So I'm not totally well versed as to the specific case. But if they said to bring him back, I would tell them to.
Yeah, it's crazy how these courts and these people just keep getting in the way of what Trump's trying to do. We wish him the best. That being said, don't forget, if you want to sign up for our mug club, you can support us financially. We're grateful to you for doing so. But you join our community and you get one of these exclusive cups. Make sure that you grab yours today at thegatewaypundit.com. I'm Elijah Schaffer. Have a great rest of the week. May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.